It's the old city of Şanlıurfa, where Abraham was here. So cool. We're here in Turkey. We're driving along in the city, or just on the outskirts of the city of Şanlıurfa. And Abraham's a big deal around here. They call Şanlıurfa the city of the prophets. Jared, what do you think is so special about Abraham?
He is the one man who God chose out of everyone in the world to make a promise to in the Bible.
Yeah, he made a covenant with him. Do you think it was God completely just picking a guy, or do you think there was something special about Abraham?
There is something special about Abraham, and that is that he listened. In comparison to the people around him who maybe weren't looking or maybe didn't care, Abraham took the time to look for and find God.
Yeah, he was an inquirer. Abraham was an inquirer after the Lord. Abraham was someone that sought for the Lord, and he come to know that there was only one God. Somehow he found the Lord. The Lord, no doubt it was a combination of both him seeking and the Lord revealing himself. The Bible actually says that the Lord chose Abraham because he would teach his children in the ways of God. So that's an interesting thing right there. Well, this is the very ancient city of Şanlıurfa. Over there is the Şanlıurfa Museum, and that houses some of the oldest archaeological discoveries in the world. Going to be looking in there this morning and seeing things that, like idols and things that Abraham would have laid his eyes upon. Okay, well, we're here in Şanlıurfa in Turkey. This is the part of the world where Abraham lived. He lived in biblical Haran. Well, the Bible has him in Haran, which is about 45 minutes drive from here. But in folklore, he was in Şanlıurfa and did a lot of things. Anyway, this whole museum here is dedicated to all the different periods of history of this area and Turkey. And there are artifacts in there from the time of Noah, from the time of the Tower of Babel, from the time of Abraham. We're going to go inside and have a look at some of them. This is the oldest statue in the world. This would be something that would have been seen around the time of probably earlier than Abraham, but Abraham may have seen it. So weird to be next to something that is so old. This bloke here is in the Şanlıurfa Museum. He's one of these Neolithic characters they've got who built the temple at Göbekli Tepe. I reckon he looks like one of Noah's descendants. He looks like Arphaxad. Hang in there, buddy. Keep your eyes on the Lord. It's Tubal Cain. Look, he's working on making some musical instruments. I'm really sorry you didn't find the Lord, mate. This is one of the gods that the Lord was very, very upset about. And over and over and over, the people were told to get rid of that god. It took them a long time to obey. 1,000 years later, Abraham may have seen things like this. And the whole world, so pagan, worshipping so many idols and gods. This whole museum is just full of it. It's just full of these statues everywhere. The whole world had gone after idols, worshipping demons. But Abraham somehow knew that there was a God. Remember Josephus, reading about Abraham in Josephus, he said he was the first to know that there was one God. And Josephus, we don't know how accurate he is, but he obviously had access to things we don't know about. And he said that Abraham was looking at the stars and the sun and the moon, and he worked out that these things were following a pattern, and that he thought they were obeying the instructions of a divine God. Abraham worked out that there was one God. I think the Lord helped him, but he came to faith. We're heading over to Bipalikligol, the fish lakes. Abraham is honoured in a really big way. The story here is that a long time ago, so it goes, Abraham and Nimrod had a face-off. Now in the Bible, you don't get the impression that Abraham and Nimrod were alive at the same time. But if you believe the biblical ages of people, and you realise that Nimrod was born at kind of an earlier period and was one of those ones that lived a long time, yeah, then the lives of Nimrod and Abraham in the Bible do actually overlap. Nimrod's an old guy, Abraham's a young fellow. Abraham has this kind of realization that there's only one God. Nimrod's a polytheist pagan worshipper. So the potential is definitely there for a conflict. And according to Josephus, he did have a conflict. It doesn't say with Nimrod, but urban legend, oral tradition, certainly here in Urfa, it's a big story. Urfa, this is the city of Urfa. And Nimrod, being the powerful leader at the time, constructed some kind of catapult and hurled him into a fire. But there was a miracle. And somehow water from heaven put out the fire and turned into a lake. And goldfish appeared, or fish appeared. Well, that's the Barlikli Gol where we're going to, the fish lakes. And these fish are huge. Everyone comes here to feed them. And as someone said, these must be the best fed fish in the world. But Abraham was here. His brother had died. He took on his brother's son Lot. They were exploring who God was. And the Lord revealed himself to Abraham, and Abraham became a man of faith. He found salvation through Christ. He became righteous. And all of that here in Urfa. Crazy, hey? Well, we're approaching the fish lakes. This is the spot that Abraham, in theory, fell into the fire, and it turned into a lake and fish appeared. And here's some of the pilgrims, lots of them that come to see this spot and remember Abraham. And of course, feed the fish. Who can't not do that? It's as touristy a place as you can get. Abraham would be amazed. The reality is that Abraham is a remarkable man. Because of him, over half of the world believes in one God, even though some of them haven't figured out that it's the Lord Jesus yet. That's an amazing thing. And Abraham deserves a bit of respect in my mind. And the Lord, no doubt, deserves even more respect for making it all happen. We're grateful, that's for sure. And the fish are crazy. Like, they're everywhere. So many thousands of them. I threw in my whole entire thing of fish food at once, and the fish went nuts. Anyway, what's very interesting here is that this is supposedly the spot that Abraham got thrown into a fire. According to the oral story, he got launched by Nimrod from right up there. You can see right up there behind Jared are those two columns. Well, the story is that Nimrod had a catapult and launched Abraham, and he went all the way down here to this spot, which was fire, but the Lord sent water and put it out, and fish appeared. Amazing story. I think the bigger thing, though, is just to notice the honour that's given to Abraham. He's in the Bible, Genesis 12, but he is truly a man worth honouring. We're here at this mosque, which is the Cave of Abraham Mosque in Şanlıurfa, and just through the doors behind it, over there, is the cave that Abraham was born. I'm not sure that we're going to be able to go in there, and I'm not sure that we can take a photo in there. Well, we're here in Turkey, driving along. Jared's doing an awesome job, and 110 kilometres an hour. And we're just discussing Abraham at the moment, actually. And I think he just went over the lines. We car beeped. Stay in the lines, Jared. It's an interesting thing. God chose Abraham, and the question is it completely God's sovereign choice? Or was there something special about Abraham? You could say, was God being Calvinist, or was God being Armenian? What do you reckon? Is God a Calvinist or an Armenian?
I think God's relational.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Lord is a relational God. He's God, but he's also a person. In fact, he's actually three persons. He's one God, three persons. He's a series of relationships, and the Lord is also relational with us. It's because of love that he sent Jesus Christ. And so a person like Abraham can reach out toward God, and there's a relational component to it. And the Bible actually says that many are called. So you might say that, yeah, God is sovereign. He wants to choose many people, but not everyone gets chosen. Many are called, but few are chosen. So the Lord in his sovereignty, he does choose to call people and he does love people, but there's a relational component to it. So when people respond to the Lord, he's not so removed from relationship that it's like a computer or a robot. It's not like a system where the sovereignty of God is so powerful. He just chooses someone. No, he knows the people. There's a heart there. There's care. He sees their heart back. And this is the reason, this is how we get saved. You know, our hearts are warmed up to the Lord. And you might say, well, the Lord he chooses to warm our hearts up. Yes, he does. He does choose to warm our hearts up. He wants everyone's heart to be warmed up, truth be told. That's the reason why he sent Christ, because he loved everyone. That's the reason why he sends us with the gospel. He also loves everyone. And the Lord is far more loving and caring and relational than we can imagine. So Abraham, someone who had a heart for God, someone who came to see that God was real and reached out, someone who found the Lord, even though we didn't even have the law yet, or the Old Testament wasn't written, and there was no Jesus yet. But because of Christ's sacrifice before the creation of the world, it was possible for people to reach out and find God. Want to see the Abraham rap? Yo, man, I'm Abraham. I'm not good at rapping. Don't ever put that up anywhere.